that. So when you're ready there, Tom.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So I thought I would update you on the latest news. Ta-da! A receipt for the $5,000 surety into the Court of Queen's Bench. So thank you very much, everyone. Or as we say in Thailand, kap kun krap. So there's been a lot of developments. My case is extremely dynamic and things happen very quickly. So I've talked to an organization called the Constitution Foundation. They often take on constitutional challenges, and I've sent them a letter asking them if they want to take on the issue of maintenance enforcement, restricting passports, and basically carrying out enforcements without due process. I haven't heard back from them, but hopefully they will read my letter and respond fairly soon. Other developments. Where to start or begin? So as soon as the other side found out we got surety, they then went after the issue of jurisdiction. So they just don't want to stop. As soon as you get through one thing, they put up another hoop or a barrier. Luckily, this will have no effect on the appeal. This is at the Court of Queen's Bench level. But the bottom line is they want to say that, hey, we gave mobility to the ex, she gets to take the kids to Thailand, and now that they're in Thailand, no matter what's going on with these kids, they can be suffering, getting beaten, failing at school, having all kinds of troubles, some of which my kids are going through. Well, the court simply says, not in our jurisdiction, we can't do anything. At least that's what the cowardly judge I have as a case manager does. I've experienced many judges in Edmonton, and I've had some correspondence exchanges with the Associate Chief Justice. And here's some interesting things I've learned. We have some presumptions about justices. The intelligence, the education, the experience that they should bring, the humanity they should bring, the passion to the work, the concern for the welfare of people that they're making decisions on that will change these people's lives. And what I found is in Canada, most of these justices are politically appointed, and as a result, many of them are cowardly. They don't actually want to see justice done. They want to carry out the rule of law, which is highly restrictive, and they work primarily on precedents and interpretations of law that are so restrictive that often justice simply gets tossed by the wayside. They're aware they're doing this, and they often know. But to them, this is the safe and politically correct way to operate. And especially when it comes to women and children, they want to be more politically correct than ever. The disappointing thing about this is the legal system and the justices are supposed to be carrying out the desires and the wants of society, which means that what you and me would see as justice is really what they should be doing. But often they're not. There is a terrible disconnect right now between the judicial system, what they're doing, and what people, you, me, everyone else, would actually see as being justice. That disconnect is very concerning because it really shouldn't exist if the justice system is serving its purpose of bringing justice, righteousness, and fairness to the people. Generally, the definition of justice is the apportioning of the rights and responsibilities between parties in such a way that there is a fair outcome or conclusion. Family law is one of the areas where you're probably going to see the least amount of justice. Take my case, for example. My kids are taken away to another country. I can't see them. Then I'm required to pay money as if they live in Canada. I have to pay funds to take care of them. In the meantime, my ex gets to live a lavish and relaxed lifestyle on my money, my work. She gets the enjoyment of raising our children, and she doesn't have to work. Recently, in front of this judge that I've been talking about, who I feel is rather cowardly, we discussed the issue of simply that she pays something towards my access costs, perhaps my phone bills. No, he won't put that on her. Okay, my kids need a webcam and a set of speaker headphones. In Asia, these cost about $4 or $5, and I've paid thousands of dollars in child support. Could the order require her to maybe buy these for the kids? No. I ordered instead to buy a webcam, buy headphones, and then I have to ship these to Thailand. They won't give her a single responsibility. Everything falls onto me. In the meantime, the rewards, being able to raise the children, getting to be a parent, getting to see them grow up, attending birthdays, Christmas, everything goes to her. I know it. Any person familiar with this case knows it. And yet, when I go in front of the Court of Queen's Bench justices, they find cowardly reasons to deny it. That said, I want to talk about two fantastic justices. They're among the most experienced justices on the Court of Queen's Bench in Edmonton. They're what are called supernumeraries, which means they've had extensive experience and they're ready to retire. I personally hope that they never do. I had very brief contact with both justices, but as you and I know, sometimes it doesn't take a lot of contact or much observation of conduct to know if somebody is really right, really loves their job, and is really capable of accomplishing things. Justices Veit and Sanderman are among the best I've ever seen. I really wish that they had come into a case like mine, because they are the kind of people I think who would have brought amazing experience, let's do it and get things solved kind of attitude. I believe they would have brought the courage to make decisions, and I think most of all they would have brought human empathy. And I believe that these two justices epitomize the concept of justice rather than laws. As I said, I've only met the two justices on brief occasions, but I'll give you an example of what I consider a good justice. I recently had to go in front of Justice Sanderman, and the reason was I had an affidavit from Calgary, a very relevant affidavit that really should have been a game changer if my case management justice was actually not the type of character he is. The affidavit was by a Thai gentleman who had spoken with my ex's sister, and he'd heard firsthand of concerns about the children's welfare that my ex's own family had, and that when they tried to bring these concerns to the attention of my ex, she had become violent and agitated and angry to the point that it was affecting the whole family. He'd also spoken directly with my children. Now, my judge had said, give me an objective affidavit. Okay, I got one for him. Mr. Suchat in Calgary spoke with my ex's sister, spoke with my children. My children told him, we miss Canada, we want to come back to Canada, we want to see our dad. Let's put it in front of the judge. He wants objective evidence, he wants third parties, let's give it to him. Unfortunately, the day that me and my friend were to go and get this sworn, my roommate and good friend Earl Silverman killed himself at the home I'd been staying at with him. It was a real tragedy, and of course we didn't get to the courthouse that day. So I brought Mr. Suchat's affidavit with me and attempted to file it in the Court of Queen's Bench as a statement, but they wouldn't accept it because it was an affidavit format, it has to be sworn. What to do? Well, I have learned a little bit from my days in the courthouse, and so I asked about getting a fiat to file, a judge's rule or decision that I can file it notwithstanding the current circumstances. And lo and behold, it was a Justice Sanderman to hear this. I'd seen Justice Sanderman in a similar situation once before for a brief period and been really impressed with his, let's get it done, fairness and objectivity. So I was interested as to how he would handle this. So let me relate to you the story of a good judge who has courage, can think outside the box, and knows how to get things done. I went into the chambers, presented the affidavit to Justice Sanderman, and explained the circumstances to him. He looked at it for about 10 seconds and he said, I can certainly give you a fiat to file this, but let's see what we can do. Let's go that extra mile and see what else we can do to make sure this is accepted. Mr. Matty, is there a phone number on this affidavit? Yes, sir, there is. Flip, flip. Oh, yes, I see it right here. Clerk, please call the number. So the clerk called Mr. Suchat, who answered the phone. And Justice Sanderman introduced himself, explained there's no problem. I mean, when you get a call from a justice, right, you may naturally assume there's an issue. Justice Sanderman very gently explained, no problem, explained what he was trying to do, and Suchat said, well, I can't talk to you right now. So Justice Sanderman said, when's a good time? They agreed on 5:30, and Mr. Suchat hung up the phone. Justice Sanderman then turned to me and said, "Mr. Matty, your fiat is no problem. You can file this. Tonight, I'm going to phone Mr. Surety. I'm going to find out the details of this affidavit. I'll make a determination how valid it is. And I'll try to get it sworn for you over the phone. I don't know if I can do that, but I will find out for you. And I'll call you back." 5:50 p.m., my phone rings. It's a blocked call. It's Justice Sanderman. He calls me to say that he has spoken with Surety, that the affidavit seems valid, but that he cannot swear it over the phone. So, when is my hearing, he asks. I tell him. Who is my justice, he asks. I tell him. He then says, "I will talk to your justice and tell him that this affidavit is fairly acceptable." And that was the end of our conversation. When I went into chambers that morning, my judge told me that indeed Justice Sanderman had talked to him and had told him about the affidavit, but that it would still need to get sworn. Of course, my judge did nothing with that affidavit, unfortunately. But I want to all of you, and to all of you justices out there, Justice Sanderman knows how to get shit done. Learn from him. Thank you.